First story I like to break out, guys, is an important story. It's about Caysen Allison, which is the Texas teen who was on trial for murder. Very similar case to that of Austin Metcalf and, of course, Karmelo Anthony. Yeah, it's it. Yeah, let's go. Let's go find out what happened.
Next on deck with Tim Black.
Starts now with a breaking news alert.
All right, we do begin today with some breaking news this noon hour out of Bell County, where a jury has reached a verdict just about an hour ago in the trial of Caysen Allison. We know a lot of you have been following this very closely. Allison was accused of fatally stabbing Joe Ramirez at Belton High School back in 2022. After several hours of deliberation, the jury found Allison not guilty of murder in the death of Ramirez, but guilty of criminally negligent homicide. News 10's Isabella Quintanilla is joining us now live from outside the Bell County Justice Center, where she has been following this trial since last week. Isabella, what can you tell us?
Yeah, that's right, Julie. It has been a long couple of days with the jurors deliberating for nearly 11 hours in total, and many people anxiously awaited the verdict. And as you can imagine, emotions were extremely high as they waited. Even before the jury came in, the entire courtroom was tense, with people on both sides of the court looking both nervous and already getting emotional. As the deputy read the verdict to the defense, there were gasps of shock and relief from both sides. And when walking out, the anger and frustration among Joe Ramirez's family and friends was clear, with one person throwing a water bottle against a wall and another screaming as they walked out of the building. We did hear from Allison's defense attorney, Zachary Boyd, who says this was a hard case, but that they're relieved by the outcome.
This case has been accompanied with threats against Caysen Allison, against Caysen Allison's family, against the defense team. You felt that tension in the courtroom. We have continually requested people to keep an eye out, people to investigate, and I'm just thankful that the Bell County Sheriff's Office has taken it so seriously and taken everyone's safety seriously. Caysen's family, the juries.
Allison has been released under his bond conditions, which will stay in place until his sentencing hearing on June 16th. Now, depending on what Judge Falconer decides, Allison could face 6 months to 2 years in a state jail. Reporting live in Belton, Isabella Quintanilla, TBTX News 10.
Next on
live from outside.
Okay. Yeah. Folks, I want to tee this up. Tee it up, Tim. Tee it up. Good enough. Let me get on the screen. This is important. How y'all feeling? I said, how are you feeling? It's a very important case. Very important case for those people that have been following the the Caysen Allison case. They've been comparing it a lot to what's happening with the Karmelo Anthony case. It's in the same state. You know, very rarely, guys, when I cover a story like this, when I'm trying to do commentary, and very rarely I'm able to compare apples to apples. Now, this ain't exactly like the case of Karmelo Anthony with Austin Metcalf, but it's pretty damn close. I mean, they're in the same state. It involved a knife, and somebody was unalived. That's a lot of similarities. There are also some racial elements to the story as well. So I know there are people that, because they can't make it spin it the way they want to spin it, they're going to pretend that those similarities don't exist, that they're not important similarities, that they carry no weight, but they do carry weight. Here's what you need to know about the case, man, in comparison to the two. Karmelo Anthony is accused of unaliving Austin Metcalf. He stabbed him one time, ran off. There's no indication that they planned to meet. They didn't know each other beforehand, regardless of what you hear on the internet. And looks like one person was the aggressor, one person was telling another person to leave the area. Then that person put their hands on someone. And then one thing led to another, and that person, Austin Metcalf, was stabbed. And this is tragic. I wish it didn't happen. I wished cooler heads would have prevailed. I wish somebody would have broken up. I wish an adult would have been present at the track meet. I wished any of the children would have felt they could have broken up. I wish something could have happened to prevent it, but it did not happen. Tragedy did happen. In the case of Caysen Allison, this was a fight that they planned to have. He knew they were going to fight. It was all over the internet. All over the school. And it wasn't just one group of fighters. It was going to be 3 fights in the same location. It was going to be a 3-on-3 fight. 3 of Claysen's friends, I think maybe including Claysen, 2 others, and Joe Ramirez, 2 other people that knew him was going to be fighting as well. So this was actually premeditated. Okay? He had the knife knowing it was going to be a fight. Caysen Allison stabbed Joe Ramirez 5 times. 5. So, I think, as I've been pointing out to people, I wish this never would have happened once again, but I also wish that Austin Metcalf would have kept his hands to himself. I have no indication of nothing that I've seen. No one's been able to convince me that Karmelo Anthony went to that track meet to unalive Austin Metcalf whom he did not know. Not a person can convince me of that. And when someone says, "Get your hands off me, don't touch me," just hit me and see what happened. That's not telling you to do it. In my opinion, that's someone saying, "You better not do it." And Austin Metcalf felt he didn't have to listen to people telling him not to put his hands onto their bodies twice. No one disputes that that's what happened, that Austin Metcalf put hands on someone twice. No one disputes that. So yeah, you see what it is now. Caysen Allison could do as much as 2 years. Could do as little as 6 months. He was acquitted of the murder charge. His charge is criminally negligent homicide. Another similarity in the case is that people are very upset. People are so upset with Caysen Allison that there were death threats made to Caysen Allison and his defense staff and the defense lawyers. Same things happened to Karmelo Anthony. Death threats to him and his family, his younger siblings. Dad had to leave his job. Austin Metcalf the Metcalfs haven't escaped death threats either, according to them. I wonder why. I don't understand, but, I guess people will do what they do. I don't know if I believe that death threats are being made to Austin's dad. Just seems a little weird. But hey, said he got swatted 3 times. I'm hoping that if that was a fabrication, the good police department there would have found out what happened. So here we are, guys. This is where we at, folks. Look, I'm going to continue to update you to the situation. This has really no bearing on our case with Karmelo Anthony, but once again, if it's any indication of how Texas treats such cases of stand your ground, it might be a glimpse into what we're looking at with Karmelo Anthony. All we want is justice. And I feel like justice in this case, will not be a murder conviction. I can tell you that right now. But we shall see. All right, guys, let me know in the comment section. Does the Caysen Allison ruling, does the verdict in any way give you hope, or does it make you unhopeful? Yeah, there you go. So if you feel like the verdict in the Caysen Allison case was justified or a good verdict, give us a 1. If you don't think it was, you think it was not a good verdict to him being acquitted of murder, but guilty of a lesser charge, give me a 0. 0's no, 1 is yes. All right, guys. Thank you.
Next on deck with Tim Black.